Alright, welcome to lesson 1-4. We're going to specifically talk about rate of change from an ordered pair in video 1. So welcome to video 1 of 1-4. Okay, so our learning target for 1-4 is that we can find and interpret the rate of change of linear, exponential, and quadratic functions. So we're just going to dive right in here. So the rate of change, or the slope, is a ratio describing how one quantity changes as another quantity changes. In algebra, we are typically comparing how the output changes to how the input changes. So another couple things are to note, or one major thing to note here are the vocabulary words over here that we're going to be looking at this for 1-4. Average rate of change, we're talking about that now. Coefficient, constant rate of change, and slope. And remember, you can look up these vocab words in the glossary in the back of your textbook. One thing that I want to talk about first, though, is something that you're going to see in science class probably. Let me change this to a different color. Let's see. Okay, so this is called the delta symbol. Looks like a triangle. So you might see delta y over delta x. So with this, delta just means, I'm going to draw it up here, delta just means change. So it means literally change in y over change in x. And this corresponds directly with our average rate of change or slope formula down here. So this could also be written as delta y over delta x. So it's just change in y divided by change in x. Another way that you have seen this before is the rise over run. And then this little note here is that this is on your formula sheet. So you don't have to memorize it, but it does help to have it memorized whenever you're doing some math and going through here. So let's scroll down here. If the value of the slope is positive, then we know that the rate of change is increasing over time. And if the rate of change is negative over time, you should expect a negative slope. Okay, and a good little visual here is I've got my cat and dog here, and the cat's thinking, I love negative slopes. I don't have to push. So it's a negative slope because they're going downhill, and that's a good thing to remember, that if you're going downhill, if you're reading your coordinate grid from left to right, if the line looks like it's going downhill, then it's a negative slope. If it looks like it's going uphill, then it's going to be a positive slope. All right, let's keep going. All right, so we've got a couple examples here. So example 1 says, what if we have a set of ordered pairs? So we want to find the slope of the line that goes through the points -4, 2 and -6, 4. So I'm going to start by labeling my second ordered pair as x, hold on real quick, sorry about that, as x2, y2, and my first ordered pair I'm going to name x1, y1. Alright, and now we're just going to remember that rate of change formula we used on the previous page here. So right here, this rate of change formula, change in y over change in x. So I'm going to write that down right here. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And all we have to do is plug in numbers. So my y2 right here is 4. So I'm going to plug this in as 4. And then the formula calls for a minus. y1 is 2. So 4 minus 2 on top. So that's this part. And then x2 is -6, so -6, minus my x1 value is -4, so that's minus a -4. So notice I have two negatives here, and what's going to happen there is they are going to become positive. So let's go and do the math up top. So 4 minus 2 gives me 2. And then on the bottom here, -6 minus a -4, I'm just going to write that as -6 plus 4. And then lastly, we've got a little bit of math here. -6 plus 4 is going to give me -2 on the bottom, and then 2 up top. So don't forget, this is going to reduce. Okay, this is going to simplify to a slope of -1. All right, so that's example 1A. Now don't forget, you can always use that calculator. So let me pull mine up here. It's not wanting to open up. Hold on just a second. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so you can always pull up your calculator and you can plug it straight in from here. So you can use the N over D symbol. So we'll do that first. 4 minus 2 over -6 minus a -4. Hit enter, and that's -1, just like we got. All right, let's try 1B. It says find the slope of the line that goes through these 2 points. So I'm going to label this x1 and y1, and I'll label this x2 and y2. And we'll just do the same thing we did over here. So change in y over change in x. So y2 minus y1, that'll be 2 minus 5 over 3 minus 3. Some of y'all are starting to see what's going on the bottom here. So let's do the math up top here. So that's 2 minus 5, which is -3. And then 3 minus 3 is actually going to give us 0. And so this slope is actually undefined. So I'm going to write that right here. This slope is undefined. So that is an undefined slope. And the reason is because you can rise, so this is your rise, but you cannot run. If you're not running anything, if you're not running left or right, then your line's just going straight up and down. This is a vertical line. And so anytime you get some math that doesn't math, in this case you're dividing by 0, which you can't do, you have an undefined slope. So that's a vertical line. All right, so make sure you try those U-tries, and then I'll see you in the next video.